Welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs, your home improvement and remodeling podcast, where the two most entertaining guys discuss the do's and don'ts in home construction and in the remodeling industry. Remember that you can nail it, paint it, or just tune into the show. How about that? Here are your hosts, Colin Shaw and Jimmy Driscoll.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs.
It's us.
Yeah, Jimmy. We haven't seen each other in a little while. We haven't done one of these.
Yeah, kind of busy with a couple, 2-3 things going on.
Yeah, you got a couple things going on?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anything good?
Yeah, it's always good. We're good, and it's still legal.
It's still legal. Wow, that's unusual.
So,
all right. Look at you turning a new leaf.
Well, yeah. Well, I want to be famous someday. I don't want my past.
Aren't you already famous?
Infamous, I guess.
Infamous.
That's what some say.
Infamous.
That's what some say.
Yes.
That's what the fans say. Hi, fans. How you doing?
Those damn groupies outside the window again. All the time. Can't shake them.
Keep your shirt on.
It's cold out there.
Yeah.
Yes. Didn't your parents teach you anything?
Nothing.
Right. Nothing. So, hey, we got a guest with us this week.
I know we do.
I know. We have Bryan Ramsey from Bryan Ramsey Design. Hey, Bryan. How are you?
Unbelievable.
Hey,
Bryan.
I'm good. How are y'all?
We're doing great. Thank you.
We're good, man.
Wishing I was in Virginia where it's a little bit warmer. Yeah.
It is warmer and sunny.
And sunny. Wow. We don't get that around here much anymore.
Yeah, it's coming.
I don't know if it's coming or not. I really don't.
We just had snow the other day, right?
Yes. Yesterday there was snow. Yeah.
Oh, wow. We are full on waiting for summer.
Yeah. Which is great for you doing what you do. You know, the design is landscape design, correct?
Landscape design.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. So tell us a little about the business. When did you start?
Well, good gracious. I'm going to tell my age here.
That's all right. Jimmy's older than both of us. Don't worry about it.
Luckily, I'm behind the camera, so you can't see so much,
Right. Gotcha.
Right.
I really got to start once I graduated college in '97. And I've been doing it ever since. So how many years has that been? I don't do public math. So
no, I don't blame you.
Right.
No. But I know 97 was more recent graduate than I was. So, and I'm not going to say any numbers either
don't say
online.
anymore.
So, no.
There you go. Well, I will tell you, I was in college for quite a long time.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
My mom told me she needed to retire, and she's like, "You need to graduate soon." So,
you were going for the extended program.
Yes. Otherwise, I'd still be in there.
I don't blame you.
But
I wish I was back in college. Yeah.
It's been a while. I've been at it for a while, and I'm still learning every single day. So that's the cool part. One thing about me being in college for so long was, I will tell you, I sucked in high school. Like, that part of my life and learning was like oil and water. But college, I hit my stride, and I was like a sponge soaking everything up.
Nice.
And fortunately for me, I have several degrees, and one is in horticulture, and another is landscape architecture, and another one's landscape design and ornamental horticulture. So
wow.
And I'm a frustrated architect. I started out in architecture, didn't finish that, but
okay.
So I feel like I'm kind of that bit of a Renaissance man, and it served me really well today to be able to encapsulate a little bit of all that into my service for our clients. So that seems to have kept me afloat all these years, for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you.
It's a good mix.
That's great. Absolutely. You did go to college for a while.
I just
Yeah, I'm still in college. College of hard knocks.
There you go.
And
Never
more true than today, for sure.
Oh man.
Absolutely.
Yep. Changing all the rules.
Yes. Now I see, Jimmy, you're wearing gloves there.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Yeah, keeping away from Colin.
I don't know where he's been.
See, that's not nice. We just met.
I know where.
I know, me too. I don't have anything out either. Yeah.
I know where his mind goes, but I don't know where he's been. So that's two different things,
Yeah.
Well, thanks for picking up on that, Bryan.
I can't tell. Do y'all have 6 feet between you?
We've got about 4. That's about as far as we can go and have the camera still record us.
And I ain't looking at him, so
no, we're not making eye contact. I don't know.
Not at all.
I don't know if that's appropriate or not, but
we're
seems like the right thing to do.
We're like a married couple.
Yeah.
He looks that way, I look this way.
Yeah. And
Ain't
I got
no spooning. Ain't no spooning.
No spooning. No. So people that might recognize you, tell people, some of the things that you've done on TV. You've been on Chesapeake Fix, which is on HGTV, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nice. What type of stuff do you do with them?
Interesting story with that. Everyone always asks, how did you come about that? And I was minding my own business one day and got a random phone call that said Hollywood, California, and I don't answer unnamed calls.
Sure.
And like 4 hours later, I checked that voicemail, and it's literally a producer. I don't know if I can say the production company, but anyway, it's a producer saying, "Hey, do you want to be part of our TV show?"
Wow.
So the story is, yeah, I got a call from Hollywood. So
yeah, and there you go.
Yeah. So that's how it started. And, I showed up on set and met the homeowners there. And they live here locally in coastal Virginia. And we've been best friends ever since. Can't believe we hadn't run into each other prior. But it was just kind of a match made in heaven, if you will. And it was fun. I was kind of like Johnny on the spot at the very last moment. I came in and Scott and Vanessa always say that I kind of saved the day, but just because I have such a multidisciplined background, I was able to help out with interiors once we finished the landscape, and also we did interior scape. So I ushered in all my pots with plants and everything, and literally I just like pillaged my garden. I had my neighbors ask me, I've got 20 pots on my front porch. I got a big front porch. And my neighbor's like, "Are you moving?" I'm like, "No, it's all for the TV show."
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Bryan, let me ask you a question. What do you prefer? Do you like pots or do you like beds better?
Honestly, pots.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting. I'm not quite sure where that came from because growing up, my mom didn't really. Well, maybe that is the issue because we never had pots, and I was always, my chores were to rake the whole damn yard.
Ugh.
And we always had big vegetable gardens. And when I say big vegetable gardens, we had 2 solid acres planted out in just vegetables.
Wow.
And so I think maybe that steered me towards pots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit easier to take care of. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
so
I think pots
you pick certain pots to make your design, right? Basically.
Yeah. And it's like Legos or something. You can rearrange them when you get bored, and I keep all of my heirloom plants in my pots, so that you can. I've moved a lot in my life, so all my babies come with me that are special, and that talk to people about a lot. That if you had that special plant from your grandmother or your mother or whoever, you can put it in a pot as long as you do it appropriately. Read up on it. Don't put it in some rinky-dink little thing that's going to break or shatter or not retain its moisture. But
yeah.
But and when you're thinking about pots and such, and especially in my world, I do rooftop gardens and all of that as well. So it's important to replenish your soul. And I say soul, not soil.
Right. That's how they say it in South Carolina, soul.
Southern slang might throw you off, so I'm just going to put that out there.
I appreciate that because I was thinking you were talking about like chicken soup for the soul or something. So
it sounds like that, but soul, coal, that I don't know. It's weird. It's way of saying.
Gotcha. All right.
So it's important to replenish your soul. And I'm an all organics kind of guy. So, dehydrated chicken manure or composted manure itself, you always want to put that back in those pots because those pots are not getting that debris breakdown like your garden gets, during fall when the leaves fall and they, decomposition in your garden and add that nutrient back.
Right.
And that's one thing I think a lot of people neglect with their pots and, especially on rooftops and things like that. Yearly, you want to go in and make sure that you're replenishing that soil.
Okay. Now, what is your feeling on, if somebody doesn't do the compost pile or anything else, they do like a Miracle Grow or one of those things that they offer out there. Is that any good? Not good?
I'm on so I tend to stay away from the chemicals, and
Gotcha.
even my cohort from Chesapeake Fix, since she met me, she's become this wanna be that garden gal, and get out there. And she had a bag of Miracle Grow when they were getting ready to plant a fruiting tree just this week. And I was like, girl, I know you're organic. So I was like, do you want to put chemicals in with that tree of, the fruit that you're going to eat? And she was like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. So I don't know if we can really talk about that very much, but that's my opinion. That's all that counts, right?
Gotcha. Absolutely. Yeah. No. If you've seen our show, we have opinions as well. So and we don't mind sharing them. So we encourage you to do so. Absolutely.
There's enough product out there, organic product, cow manure and such at the big box stores, and several. I'm a big promoter of Espoma. I pronounce it as it's spelled, ESPOMA. That has a range of products, for evergreens or for deciduous trees or for fruits or vegetables, that really, really, they have a tremendous product line. And
interesting.
I point most of my clients to that after we leave their property.
Okay. Well, since you brought up the box stores, what about all those great flowers that they sell dirt cheap?
Well, you know what? They used to be dirt cheap. Have you seen the prices?
Are they not?
Lately?
No.
I've noticed the stuff is really starting to go up now.
Honestly,
I've noticed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Last couple years, I've noticed this, and I mean, when I walk through there, thank God I can buy wholesale.
Right. That is a nice thing for what you do. Absolutely.
I get spoiled, but and there goes that.
Yeah, spoiled. I got it. I picked it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
So, it's interesting when you walk through, and I was just there today. In fact, I had to wait in line to get in there, but I see everything in bloom, and it's so tantalizing. Even for me, I'm like a plant hoarder for sure. I'm a geek when it comes to that, and I just want to grab up 2 of everything. If the world's end, I want 2 of it all. But everything that's in bloom should not be bought. And I've seen this in the last probably 3 years, on steroids. The industry has learned, these plants are not going to sell unless they're blooming.
Right.
And at this delicate time of year where like you guys are still getting snow and we're not, we didn't even have a winter this year. So, they're trying to span that gap of the haves and have nots in terms of climate at this time of year. So what I've noticed is plants sitting on those benches that should not be blooming, but they're blooming right now. They've been forced. And you don't want those plants. And we'll get to, how you find out which ones you want and which ones you don't. But you definitely don't want those, because if in a more northern climate like you guys, you get that plant out there and it's already bloomed. That means it's susceptible to any colder weather and frost and such that you guys might still have. And, that's going to do harm to that plant. And there goes your $10 for this little plant,
Right.
So I've noticed a lot of forcing. I've also noticed, especially this time of year, just to get stock on the shelves, they are bringing in plants that are one-time bloomers that should not, just to get the, money flowing, I guess, and get people shopping. And a lot of folks don't realize that they're going to take that beautiful blooming plant home and that's it.
Right.
A week and that's it. And they stick it in the garden and think they're going to have a whole summer of bloom. And that's not the case. So you really have to do your homework. And a lot of times what I tell people is take a little twirl through the garden center and, I'm old school. I have a little pen and paper and I'm writing, but you can take pictures nowadays of that plant name. Go home, Google it and do a little research on what is, acclimated to your climate and what is going to, offer continued bloom. Clients included, they're always frustrated over the dollars they spend out shopping when they're enticed by these things and, to no avail, or they die.
Right.
So,
right.
Nowadays, especially, I think our dollars need to be spent better.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to buy a plant that's about ready to die. So, no.
Hey, I got to ask you a question, kind of outside the plant, but because of your landscaping design with your flowers and stuff, do you incorporate like outside lighting for nighttime? Do you ever do that?
All of it.
No?
Absolutely.
Nice.
I love it. I mean, my own garden, it comes alive at night, and it gives you those added hours of entertainment and just relaxation, whatever you do in your garden. I just find it integral to every single garden for myself.
LED lights have come a long way, and I'm sure that really accents a lot of the stuff, the foliage that you have, depending on if it's a fern or if it's a bush, stuff like that. Must be really cool with the stone workway and stuff like that, So
yeah, and what we do and our clients are loving is, have you ever heard of moon lighting?
Yeah, aquariums have them. Aquariums,
do they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I built a guy's man cave around his 800-gallon pool. 800-gallon saltwater tank that he was from Australia, and his light that he had was a moonlight.
Yeah,
it would go on. It was like it cost like $1,500.
Oh,
and he had it was amazing. This thing was like, wow, it was incredible. It was
now,
beautiful.
was that for like the health of the aquarium, like the fish and all that?
Yeah, all of that, and what goes on inside that tank, because it's, I guess, I don't mean to get off the plant thing, but it's the pH and everything else. It's so delicate that it's so delicate. The lighting that you use and everything else, it's like it was all synchronized to nighttime, and then daytime. It was crazy, incredible. I learned so much. Yeah, so it must be kind of like the same way, maybe with the plants, or just is it more decorative, the moonlighting that you use?
Well, it's decorative for sure, but it's also very functional.
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of homeowners that want some security lighting, but want it to be garden friendly, and so that's another reason for adding it. Moon lighting for us, thank goodness, it's not that pricey.
Wow, it is good.
Our fixtures are about $300, but again, it's LED lighting that you hang it way above. You have to have the right trees and the right canopy. But my twin brother does the rappelling stuff, like climbing and all that. So he gets all suited up and harnessed up, and hangs 100 feet out of a tree to place these lights. And so, the fixtures literally are about, $200 to $300 a piece, but you need a couple of. They just had this diffuse, soft moon glow that shines down through all the branches, and so at night it gives you that moon glow with the shadow play and such.
Yeah.
But again, so clients can see getting from their car into the home with groceries at night and such as, or just to be able to get out and circle the garden and enjoy it otherwise. So
nice.
And very nice.
LED, as y'all know, has come a long way. I've been
very much so
to it for, the onset, but now they've really, got a handle on the warmth, the glow of it, and it's not that blue light anymore. And I still have clients when they ask about it and say, "No, I don't want that blue light," and I'm like, "We got it."
We have options. We have options.
So I have another question for you in your design. What do you prefer? Do you prefer natural stone, or do you like landscaping blocks?
I'm a purist. Natural stone, baby.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Yep.
What about you guys?
We get a lot of pavers up around here.
Yeah, but
for whatever reason, and I think it's quite honestly, I think a lot of it is cost. It is more expensive to go with a bluestone, flagstone, any granites or any of those, where you can get pavers for a lot less. And people kind of are getting into the hardscapes around here, with the fire pit and everything else and the bench and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's what I see anyways, is mostly the pavers.
Yeah. I have a place up in New Hampshire, which is known as the Granite State. So I guess I'm going to just carry it to that because I got stone, baby. I got real stone and I got everything. I just dug out my basement and I have everything from shale to I had a little bit of slate, but granite, and then I just regular stone, all the different types is what I have. And my dad, it's passed down in my family because I don't know if it's because I'm Irish or whatever. We're stone guys. My father knows how to lay stone and my brother lays stone, and me as a kid with them, I learned how to lay stone and learn from some old timers. I don't do it like really great. I do it like a field stone. I don't do it like that. I haven't got that perfect linear tilted back. I mean, it's like Machu Picchu. I don't have that. I don't have that down yet. You know what I'm saying? Now, so I like to lay stone.
Do you mend like those beautiful property kind of stone walls and such? Like, are you able to do things like that?
My definition of a stone wall is, yes, I can mend it, but I can't get it perfect like those. Some of those guys are really good where they can make that flat wall, that extremely tight, precise flat wall. No, I got a bump here, I got a lump there. That's gonna stick out. My walls have character, but when the walls are done, people go like, "That's a nice wall."
Exactly. There you go.
Your wall has skin tags, but they look good.
I have stone envy with you guys. Like, I love going north. My husband is from Boston.
Yeah.
So we travel up there quite a lot and through the countryside. And we have his family has a house up in Maine.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we travel through your great state and, on up to Maine to get there. And I'm just always so enraptured by all of those, field stone walls stretching.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, they date back hundreds of years too. I mean, it's just amazing to think these guys, built those back in the day when there wasn't any great tools to use or anything else. I mean, it was just
they clear cut the land,
and
then they roll the stones over, and that's their property line, and they go. Some of these walls just go.
Yeah, forever.
The stone I envy you guys for, and the second thing is your lobster.
Lobster? Oh, lobster! Absolutely.
I like the lobster.
Lobster with butter.
Yeah.
Hot lobster roll, cold lobster roll, whatever.
Right.
A beer with lobster. That's okay too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I love Pennsylvania bluestone, and I know there's a lot of it up your way as well, and we have to pay an extra premium to get it delivered down south. So I'm envious that y'all can get it so inexpensively, but. Ultimately, yes, I love natural stone. Just what Mother Nature gives you out of the ground is exceptional.
Do you like working with granite?
I do, absolutely.
Because you got Rhode Island granite, which is pink. It's got a pink color to it, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
We just did. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I'm all ears.
We just finished. Now it's not granite, but speaking of pink. We went with a limestone curbing on a historic home, and it's the curbing up by the city sidewalk, not the curb by the street. And now, granted, up y'all's way, you have to really focus on granite because of salt and the trucks and everything else for winter. But up here or down here, we can have limestone curbing, and it was just a gorgeous mix. The color with the yellow brick of the historic home was just glorious. And I love being able to use colored natural material like that. And when you can find it, and it's a match made in heaven when it comes together.
That's cool. And so basically, all right, so on the outside, besides we're not doing a pot, we're doing it outside, you're going to landscape with stone.
Yeah.
Now, being the designer that you are, would you build? Would you build, if you built the wall first, would you incorporate certain plants with that stone? You hear what I'm saying? Like, do those plaid pants go with that polka dotted shirt? I say not. Right? Correct?
I am in love with that question. And it's
Thank you.
You are on point. And the funny thing is, when you were talking about stone in the north and my envy of your stone selection, I worked on a garden up in Connecticut years ago, near about that 97 timeframe. And not only did we have to dynamite the slope to be able to fit this pool and pool house, but we had to dynamite to get the pool out of the ground. And I mean, talk about some money that I'm glad we don't have to deal with here.
Right. Yeah.
That like quadrupled the price of any pool and pool house. But
sure.
In doing so, we had, if you could see my hands, we had this slope that we, had dynamited out, and then had the pool, down below. And all of that beautiful stone that was revealed, we planted weeping trees at the very top, and we used Japanese maples, and with very interesting foliage. And what people don't know is, we've all seen those weeping trees, and especially Japanese maples. Well, if it's planted 15 feet above in the air on this, this edge of the cliff, basically, that tree will trail all the way down until it hits the ground below.
Oh, beautiful.
Wow.
It kind of boggles the mind to think that the tree can grow below its root system, but it just is going.
Right.
And so, yes, we took complete advantage of that, exactly that kind of scenario, to mix and match plants with that stone, and to soften all that hardness,
Because I look at it the same way. I'm trying to landscape my place now, because I have a front and I have a back where my place is. There's ledge, but there's stone. So I've laid stone, and the stone that's been laid there for 30 or 40 years ago. I run into this all the time, but I'm thinking, all right, do I want ground cover? My sister laid ground cover, oh my God, 30 years ago, and now it's just like, it's almost invasive, but it's really beautiful. And I don't want to move that because it took so long for it to grow. And then you have like that invasive green ivy that's down in the back, and it's just starting to cover everything. And it's just like, all right, it looked great coming out. Now it's way too much. I get caught in between what's going to work really good here. Now, for you and I mean, we could talk about this all night. We don't have all day. But now you have to, when we deal with environment, I deal with a hot summer, right? And then I have a very, very abrasive winter because the water's coming off the lake. So I can't plant it arborvitae right out front where I could do some beautiful stonework, because the winds are going to burn it.
Yeah.
The high winds will burn it. So I'd have to wrap it in burlap is what I would have to do, correct?
Mm-hmm.
To kind of to stop that.
Yeah.
Because when you look at it, and I'm sure you look at this too, when you look at the landscaping of what the house is, it's like you have to be a detective, an investigator. Why is this so hardy, and how is this holding up so well in this hostile, because in the winter it's hostile environment, where, if I plant this, is it going to hold up? Not even getting into the soil, the acidity or the pH, just the environment itself. That's detective work, as far as I'm concerned, right?
And it's a process of elimination, especially, clients emailing you or calling you that you can't quite get to, their site, and they're like, well, what's going on? And you're trying to decipher what they're saying into truth. They're not, trained in that field in horticulture. So, I have to do a little digging and a little translation just to, understand what they're trying to tell me. And then, yes, it's always interesting to, even though I might have been on that site and been on there a few months while we're installing, some facet of the garden, things change. Trees are come down. They neglect to tell you, oh, the neighbors took all their trees down. where your garden is now exposed to not only sun, but wind or salt spray, all those things. So it really is, it's like you want to just dig in, but you can't. And sometimes you want to slap some people too. But
well, that's the hard thing, is because you have to. They go, I want this, and you go, well, you can't have that because it's not going to live. Oh, but I really, really want it. No, you can't put in 4 goldfish with a piranha. It's not going to. But they're so pretty and they're gold. I want it. I want those goldfish.
We get that all the time.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, my piranha ate my goldfish, and it's your fault.
Right.
But it's just like, I'm telling you, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Well, and just like, there's so many things out there that are so bizarre to most people, but like cedar apple rust. Have y'all heard of that?
No.
You can't have down south, you can't have a native cedar tree next to any kind of fruiting apple tree.
It'll kill it.
Huh.
It'll kill it, right?
And the disease is called cedar apple rust. And your tree will not produce or be productive at all. And so
I've heard of that.
There's so many weird nuances in Mother Nature that, it does require a lot of thinking and head scratching. You can see that I've scratched about all the hair on my head. Yeah.
All right. So now,
this
one's a little spiritual for you.
Oh, good.
No, because
you're spiritual.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question, and you answer it. Answer how you want to answer it. All right. So you have the knowledge, you have the passion. Once you have created what you've wanted to create, what you've done, do you feel a certain energy now that's been incorporated in the design that you have done, that it mixes? See, I'm getting deep.
I know, this is crazy.
Because this is how I feel.
Yes.
I need a drink.
When you have so many trees, it's like, just for instance, I got to back up a second. The person just cut those trees down, which totally, I don't mean to get weird or nothing, but sometimes it changes the energy of that landscape.
It does.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Do you agree with what I'm saying? So when you finish that, you've incorporated a new energy in that landscape. So do you feel that?
I do. And I think my clients do as well. Through the whole process, they understand where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to achieve, keeping them first and foremost in mind of, their needs and likes and dislikes. But yes, there's a flow, there's an energy. I am of the spiritual variety.
Great.
I believe in that. I believe, especially in nature and living things, that I'm bringing all of this life to you, and in the most productive, efficient way, right? And
yes.
So, and being an artist or designer, and even with what you guys do, it's always about manipulation for views, right? Manipulation for the feeling you get in that space, manipulation for how you move through that space and how you want, your guests or whoever to move through that space and what they see and what they experience. So when I go in with my army, I really talk about screening, and I talk about those elements that we want to protect within that garden. And so, I try to second guess, triple guess, quadruple guess, things that could happen, and how we maintain the integrity of the design and, like you say, the flow and the energy there. Because if it's true, once your neighbors decide, inevitably they will. And where we live, and sometimes with you guys too, we get a nice hurricane that blows through, and guess what? There go all the neighbors' trees, So
right.
I take all of that into consideration, and, I do believe in borrowed views. So, if there's a site, far off that's lovely, we want to, frame that out and protect that view. There's some of that going on as well. But I'm full on with you. I'm so passionate about what I do, and I want to ensure that the integrity of the garden, not just design, but the health and everything, is maintained. So when I step off that property, it continues to thrive without me. and continues to, get back to the clients.
Right. Yeah. Now, you brought up term screening. Can you explain to us what that means?
Screening unsightly views.
Okay.
As simple as that. But it's people overlook it, and again, like most of us, and even myself, I was in, the big box stores today looking for toilet paper. But
how'd that go?
Just say, I go in through the garden section, I'm like, ooh, and you're misled. And so many people want the instant pretty. They want the instant bloom, and it's education. And I know for you guys, it's the same way. Like, you have to educate your clients. And I tell them, this is a long-term investment, the screening that we apply. And, I sometimes, hedging is required. We bury fencing in it so that you don't see fencing. And, I do all manner of screening types, like one I call is a mixed tapestry screening, where I put a lot of different conifers together in colors that you just have this beautiful mixed tapestry effect. But that's typically very slow growing. And so you always want to think about that first, because any view that you have that's unsightly then and there, you got to start thinking about how we're going to screen that out. And because typically screening grows slower and longer, how old are you? How long are you going to invest in this garden or this home? So get that going, get that growing, and then we can focus on the minutia.
Right.
Inside.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, we live up here in New England. We have a lot of deer, as I'm sure you do down there as well. Yeah. And it's hell at my house all summer long with my wife, because
it's like a prison.
All right. Oh. So she calls it. No, so we have a fenced in backyard, all right, and we have the deer fence that goes all the way through the woods and everything else to try to block them out. And I get the phone call or the text that says perimeter check, and that I know means somebody got in and ate some of the flowers. So we have to go around and try to find where they got in from. So what can people plant that has some sort of a flower to it that maybe the deer will not eat? No such thing, is there?
Honestly, there's not. And I have seen that in all my years of practicing, in that when they're hungry enough, they're going to eat it. It's just one of those things. But I'll say that they're not what we do here. And I'll say the deer, they're not as harsh of an issue as down here as they are with you guys. It seems to be just out of control.
They're everywhere. Yeah, they're everywhere.
There's certain odors and certain plant smells released that they're repelled to. And so a lot of your, and it's not the case across the board, you can Google some of it, but a lot of your scented conifers, pines and Chamaecyparis and all of that, give off an odor that they're repelled to.
Okay. Interesting.
And if you have certain things planted around the base and throughout the garden, they'll tend to stay away from the real yummy plant in the middle, if you will. So there's a lot of barriers you can kind of play with and mix with to keep deer in check to some degree.
Okay.
But again, if they're hungry enough, it's the middle of summer, you've had a long droughty season, everything's up for game, as you know.
Yeah. Yep. No, very true. And I'll tell you what, the weirdest thing I ever saw, I couldn't figure out where the deer were coming in. It could be something really small, or maybe they could jump over it or whatever. So I ran after these two deer that were in my backyard. I'm in the woods and I'm watching them, and this damn thing dropped to the ground, laid on its side, used its hooves, and slid out underneath the fence.
You're survivors,
I was
man.
like, I give up. How do I beat that? They're smarter than me.
I know a guy who was hunting a deer, and he shot the deer.
Yeah.
And he trailed the deer all the way to a pond. And he's like, where did it go? And he's looking, and in between the reeds, his nose was the only thing out of the water, breathing out of the pond.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Crazy?
He was like, he's waiting. He thought it was like a turtle. And he's like, that's the freaking deer. It was in the water, underwater, just breathing with its nose out of the water.
Oh,
crazy.
My God.
They are survivors.
Yeah.
I know hunters who told me, goes, if you don't, I don't hunt myself, but if you don't hit them in a vital organ, they'll survive. They'll keep going.
I've hit a few in my car that kept going.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Well, you got to hit them with a Buick.
Something with some steel in it, mind you.
That's right. That's right. Not that damn fiberglass stuff.
No. Brush that right off.
All right, Brian. You want to give anybody like give a new homeowner a garden 101? What should they be paying attention to for their very first garden?
Well, we have two type of first-time homeowners. Either you're buying a home that is pre-existing, somebody else has sold you.
Yep.
I call that inherited.
Okay.
Or you're building a home, right? I mean, unless you guys can fill me in on other avenues, but those are the two vital avenues that I encounter.
Yes.
And what I like to tell homeowners, and we'll talk about the new home build. How about that?
Okay, that's better. Yep.
And so many times they don't think about calling a person in like me to kind of navigate that building out phase. And not that there's a lot for me to do at that point, even though, regardless, I like to go in, and I always tell people I do garden consultations. You don't have to have a full, lengthy, drawn-out design, master design, if you can't afford that or don't want to go that route. Yeah. But I go in and consult folks when they're building a home and say, wait, you might want to rethink. And, they're allotted so much for the driveway. They're allotted so much for paved surfaces and whatnot. Yeah. So that's where I start to talk about design. And so many times, how many times have you seen a sidewalk lead off of the front porch and tie directly into the concrete driveway?
Yes.
Or asphalt.
Yeah. Always.
And then you've got that interior bed space.
9
times out of 10, there's a downspout coming off the house into that bed.
Yeah, you're right.
9 times out of 10, or more like 10 out of 10, there's no drainage accounted for whatsoever. So you end up with a pond and a pool. And I'm sure you guys have seen it where then that moisture starts to, seep in under the house and start to cause issues and breakdown. Yep. Well, it's those simple moments that I say, whoa, let's not create a dam. Why are we putting a dam here? Let's rethink this thing and put in conduit. Just simple conduit, 2-inch lines or whatnot. Do some PVC pipe before that concrete is laid so that 1, you could get irrigation in there down the road, or 2, get electrical for lighting down the road, or 3, be able to drain your damn downspouts out of that bed and, carry away from the property. So you can see how vital. And so many times I roll up on the scene after the fact and they're like, well, what do I do about this? And I'm like, well, you got to take your whole damn sidewalk out.
Yeah.
What are you going to do otherwise? So, huge costs down the road where that could be prevented so easily and so simply during that initial phase of build out.
Cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. You have a twin brother.
I do.
Which you're going on record now saying that you're better looking than him, even though he's your twin, right?
No, it's the damn truth.
Is it? So there you go. I like that.
All right.
I am married to a man, so we don't have children. Not to say that the world, I couldn't have children, but I'm just not the children type. But my brother has 5 kids.
5 kids. Oh my God.
5.
So the toll that it's taken on him at this point, I can gladly and proudly say that, yes, I'm the better looking of the 2.
Brian, there you go.
Brian, I can always tell right now, hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down. Not even a question. Shouldn't even ask that question.
But the two of you guys do work together, and you guys have a show on the Design Network called Backyard Staycation, right?
Yes.
And when is that on? Is it on a certain day of the week, or?
Well, you can I mean, well, one, you can go to YouTube and look it up anytime, but
Sure.
I don't know what the schedule is, honestly, and we're waiting on season 2 to come around.
Nice.
So that's exciting, but hopefully bigger budget and, all the.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. You can definitely go on YouTube or go to their website and check that out for sure.
The Design Network.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Great.
All right, that was awesome.
Yeah. Any horror stories you want to throw at us right before we say goodbye?
Yes.
I love it.
I always tell, down here I call Miss Utility whenever we're going to enter a property and start demo.
Yeah.
And they mark all the, lines, but there's a lot of private lines that they're not going to mark for you. So we have to work with our clients to figure out where they are. One time my brother had this machine that did this underneath of it. And he literally snagged that invisible fence line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
About a 15-acre property. In about 5 seconds, I guess it was a tiller, whatever it was, had pulled up every linear foot of that entire invisible dog fence into the equipment. And we spent the rest of the day having to cut and do, it's like gum in your hair,
Oh,
yeah, man.
Oh my gosh. And then have to put it all back.
Oy vey.
Wow. All right. That was a good one. I like that one. Thank you.
Oh my
That
God.
was good. All right. Again, we want to thank Bryan Ramsey from Bryan Ramsey Design. We really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show with us. It was a lot of fun.
Guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I had a great time.
Good. And I think this is our longest show we've ever had.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You won, Bri.
You won.
I don't know what you won, but you won.
Don't be waiting by the mailbox. There's nothing coming. So. All right, Bryan. Thanks again. We really appreciate it. And everybody, please stay safe out there. Crazy times right now. And, Jimmy's got his gloves on and he's doing the Michael Jackson thing.
Yeah.
And, do what you got to do. But everybody stay safe.
Yeah.
All right. Jimmy, I'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Yeah.